Special article here for all fellow TIs out there. The truth denied alternative news. Alternative media and journalism cover politics, climate change, and geoengineering. The truth denied video. That was around 2016, and wow, I have never seen clowns like that before. Don't worry, there will be a link in the description to this for you all to check out for yourself. How to remove an RFID implant, as well as will be in this article. And this image above was from a French documentary showing a very chip being surgically removed from an arm of a journalist. Source News of the World, RFID. 2017 updates. Popular Science put an article out called "Why Did I Implant a Chip in My Hand?" that most of you may want to read. Please look at the size of the chip, and as you are looking over your own body, can you tell us how large or small your chip is wherever its location may be on your body? Wow. Please be sure to visit the comment section when you are finished reading the article from above from the other TIs. This is another way where fellow TIs can connect with other fellow TIs, and you can never miss out on an opportunity like that. RFID technology could lead to political representation, as government could use implants to track and target human rights activists, which they have, well, in a way that which they have actually done. They have been people illegally laced with nanopoisoning, active nanopoisoning. Labor activists, civil dissidents, and political opponents, criminals, and domestic abusers could use them to stalk and harass their victims. Slaveholders could use them to prevent captives from escaping, and child abusers could use them to locate and abduct children. So what do we do about this? Most of the TIs that I have spoken have similar concerns when it comes to implant devices. The removal of an RFID implant is complicated, whether you are a pet or a human. First, you have to find a practitioner who can detect the chip. This is usually not so easy to do, as some of the chips do not show up on x-rays. Ultrasound machines or scanners, once you have successfully determined that you do not have an implant, you better hope the chip stays in one location. 90% of the time, they tend to move around the body. Secondly, you must find a surgeon who is willing to remove the chip, or find a technician who can erase the chip and stop it from transmitting data. The following is sure to help those of you who may have strong implications of chip implantation. This article is to aid you in the search for either chip detection or chip removal. What is an RFID, radio frequency identification implant? RFID is a technology, you know something, that's what I'm kind of worried about RFID fabric. I do not recommend anybody to use that because I tried that for shielding. Yeah, not what I was expecting. Best thing to use is copper. Now, as far as a cell phone thing, I don't know. But as you all have seen, like the fiber is in fabric and all that stuff. Yeah, you definitely want to avoid that. RFID is a technology for identifying uniquely medical equipment and supplies and other high-value assets using radio waves. Typical RFID systems are made up of two major components: readers and tags. RFID tags are also referred to as a chip. RFID stands for radio frequency identification. The RFID reader also, hold on, are we even recording there? Yes, we are. Jackpot. The RFID reader, also called a scanner, is set to a particular electrical magnetic frequency. And an RFID tag, which consists of a microchip, is connected to an antenna. The microchip contains information that is transmitted to the scanner when the chip is within its range. The chips are generally the size of a grain of rice, but more recently technology is smaller. Uses for the RFID chip include tracking for pets, medical patients' data, and records. Military recruits, credit and debit cards, use dollar consumer goods, and even livestock. You name it, it's got a chip. The RFID, also, if you wanted to wear it, they also been vaccinating livestock, so be careful of the poultry that you're eating, because you may be eating vaccinated meats. So if you didn't know then, you know now. The RFID labels draw their power from the reader. The reader transmits a low-power radar signal through its antenna to the tag. The tag receives it through its own antenna to power the integrated circuit. Microchip. that is built into the label. The tag will briefly communicate with the reader for verification that the tag was read. The data is exchanged. RFID systems were originally developed, created as an alternative to barcodes. So they say, if you're not familiar with the RFID technology yet, I would suggest that you begin to at least familiarizing yourself with it, mainly because the number of different devices that utilize these types of tags is growing exponentially. The main reason someone would want to block or destroy RFID chips would be to maintain privacy. Amazing PDF and documentation of Larson chip. TIs need to read this. Now, this is what I've been looking for, because this is the shit that is responsible for all of this stuff, for all of us being connected. This is more documentation on it. Sure, we know a few bits and pieces here, but this right here is giving us more of an insider's look as far as biology looks as to what it would look like. How did you get your implant if you never authorized it? It is becoming more and more obvious that almost all of us have been implanted with chips in one way or another since we were born. How and exactly who is doing the implants? You notice the capitalized letters there, the WHO. Dare I say World Health Organization? I mean, they do specialize in health, right? But anyway, vaccinations, flu shots, dental work, surgeries, sleep abductions. In fact, most medicine, including dentistry, have been loaded with implantable chips since the 1960s. They have had this technology for 40 years or more and are just now bringing it out to condition and introduce it to the public. Withholding technology is typical for the government and military for years before they release it to the public. For whatever reason, most of the time, new technologies have been beneficial, but implantable chips are not one of them. If you wish to further your knowledge on current technology regarding frequency and rating distance of the RFID chip, we have provided a manual for DEF CON. And there you go. There's the link right there. I guess I don't know, that's a PDF. I guess I'll copy and paste that and leave that in the description for you all as well. Or, if you want, you can just go ahead and copy and paste it directly from the article. Both links will be in the description. Removal of an RFID implant. Now that you have one, how do you get rid of it? The implantable microchip can be removed from the body, but it is not like removing a splinter. This image is from a French documentary showing a very chip being surgically removed from an arm of a journalist, source News of the World, RFID. CNN reporter Robin Conroe confirms that chip removal is difficult. She was implanted with a VeriChip in a Spanish nightclub in 2004 and had the device removed later that year. She reports that the surgery was a challenge for her. The doctor involved a far cry from removing a splinter. Here is her report. Once back home in London, I began to feel uncomfortable and unsure about my microchip implant. The Beja Beach Club with websites assured that getting rid of the microchip is a simple and harmless procedure, something like removing a splinter, but the two doctors I consulted in London's Harley Street disagreed. Getting the microchip removed became serious business. The following is from a reader who had an unbearable ringing in her ears and suspect that they had an implant. This is an except from part of the letter. The night taking the advice on the web's 3/4 neodymium, however you pronounce that, magnets were now placed on the top of arc of the ear. Now, this is also similar to what Zacchaeus was talking about when he was talking about the cyst parasite. The parasite was like in a certain part of the ear, close to the upper area of the ear. So this may most likely be the exact same thing. Or they could be two different things, but also connected in the way of how this stuff works. But the ear had been cut, and force of the magnets became so painful they were not able to sleep with them on more than 2 hours before having to remove them. Only days have gone by, but the sound has not returned, referring to the ringing and beeping noises. Magnets can also be found inside old hard drives. They will be encased in a silver or gold overlay because they are more brittle than other magnets, but you will not mistake them because the moment you try to put them together, you will pinch your fingers. They are very powerful magnets derived from a rare earth mineral. and they will render microchips useless. Original source, as you see there. A lot more information for fellow TIs here. And man, like, just seeing this stuff. Photos contained in this document are of stimulators devices that were surgically removed and analyzed by using microscopy and by materials characterization techniques. To the recovered devices are an exact match of the devices that were developed by research scientists Joseph Schumann, Gerald Loeb, and Philip Tryock under a contract from the National Institution of Health. There are about 4 contracts involved, but initial contracts was not numbered NO1/NS5/2325 and funded by the NIH/NINDS/NPP. More information regarding these contracts can be found at the NIH Neural Prosthesis Project website. The following list briefly outlines some of the evidence presented in this document. Amazing PDF and documentation of Larson's chip. Wow, this looks disgusting. There's no way in the world, having read this information, that I would have one of these chips implanted in my skin or in one of my family members. Given the preliminary data, it looks to me like there's definitely cause for concern. Dr. Robert Benza, Director, Cancer Biology, Genetics Program, Maryland Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Please check out this interview with James Welbart, who is one of the board of the directors for the Stalking Victims Network. James Wilbur is the victim of non-consensual RFID implementation. He has testified in Washington, D.C. in front of the President Commission on Biological Issues appointed by President Obama. Oh, dude, he's the enemy. He's not. Oh, no, he said Obama. Did they mean Obama or Bahama? It's a weird name. He is one of the few. Wait, did they say? Hold on, where was this at? Washington, D.C. That's still in the U.S. So I guess they mean Obama, I think. But if they mean Obama, then he's part of the problem. He is one of the few who obtained a protection order from James Wilbert. When I asked James Wilbert why he did not elect to have his implant removed, he stated, "Because I don't think it's time." Let's check it out. And, of course, YouTube would take it down. Of course they would take that video down. Why would they not? How to deactivate an RFID chip implant. I have found that rare earth magnets called neodymium magnets will nullify chips. I bought some neodymium magnets online from a retailer, the kind that can lift 100 pounds of steel and run about 70 cents a piece, and I used band-aids to hold them in place. I put magnets on the back of each earlobe, on the side of each arm where I have received shots, or both sides of my jaws where I had wisdom teeth removed, and under each heel where I had been purposely implanted by my mother's doctor shortly after I was born. Also on my stomach where I had a cesarean. I don't know how to pronounce that. I am finding that most people are implanted by their navels as well. If you have had any type of surgery, put or a magnet near the scar for about 24 hours. You can see there. And apparently there's the magnet. I didn't know magnets. It's probably just a reflection of the coloring in the room. I'm about to say, I never knew magnets come in gold color, but that does look powerful. For the electronic physician implants, neodymium rare earth minerals magnets of anywhere from a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch in diameter work very well to completely disable them. Some people wear them in the headband of a baseball cap separately for at least 24 hours, but you can also tape them to the back of your ear and hide them under your hair. After implants are disabled, you won't have so much fatigue, and the pitch of the frequency in your ear stops happening. Use caution with these powerful magnets, though, as they can wipe out disks in computers. It's best not to wear them while sitting at a computer, at least not while wearing more than 1 or 2 of the little ones.
So this is from your perspective looking at, this is my left hand. So the idea here is that you kind of grip your hand like this with your other hand and find the tag and you pop it up. So you kind of see it pops up there pretty easily. And so when the doctor or whoever's doing it, they make an incision at that side of it, And you do that. You mark it the insize, and then you do this with your thumb, and you kind of push up with your index finger on this side, and you down with your thumb on this side, and it provides that kind of I don't know, just pops it up for them so that it can go out the incision site, and then they can use the tool to scrape away the fibrous tissue on either side of it, and then it just kind of like pops right out of that hole. But yeah, without doing that, it's a lot of digging and pain. And so yeah, doing that, being able to do that for them is real kind of critical. So have them put a glove on you, a sterile one or whatever, and yeah, go for it. So that's how you do it.
Definitely good to see that. Definitely good. The following are comments of those who have tags implants of these are excepts from the discussion. They don't seem to be bothered by having the implants. They choose the injection they offered, referred to as a biohacking. James says December 14, 2012 at 4:17 a.m. I have a 125 gigahertz in EMF4 tag in my left hand and have for almost 2 years. I've been wondering if you think it's worth it to remove my current tag and upgrade to a 3. Is the red range about the same, worse, or greater? Okay, next. You can have a remove and replace it with a. Why not just put to the other hand? Of course. Why are they wanting this stuff to go in their hands, dude? No. Stop. Like, really, no. I'll just let you guys just read this at your, you could just pause and read it if you want. Lopez has been reaching out to the pub. Did they mean Jennifer Lopez? No, Roxy Lopez of The Truth Denied. Oh, Roxy Lopez, okay. Lopez has been reaching out to the public for most of her adult life regarding many subject matters that revolve around government secrecies such as GMOs, UFO sightings, Morgellons disease, chemtrails. Just to name a few, Lopez states that the truth has been denied us all, and is in this current age of technology, we now offer the right to access it once and for all. The Truth Denied requires worldwide attention when Lopez made a global stance against geoengineering, aka chemtrails, GMO, fracking, environmental health hazards, Morgellon disease, gang stalking, and illegal government surveillance programs that are increasingly on the uprise. Roxy opens the can of worms for the secrets that the global government is keeping from us all. Looks like there's a YouTube channel, The Truth Denied. Definitely check that out. Definitely worth checking out. Okay, so this is from Carl E. Bohm. Now, I don't know. I think we're still recording. Yes, we are. I don't know how long this is going to keep going. When it stops, it stops. Again, you can just read the rest of this at your own leisure. The link will be in the description and everything. Hello, all government-used pieces of dung. I am also a victim. Came out of my third surgery for the both rotator cuffs torn, and my right eye was swollen and red and shut. The hospital denied anything ever happening. My life has been nothing but a terrible accident since that day, and whoever these people are, they are sick in the head. Some of the stuff they suggest in my head is for the extremely sick people trying to lead me into a self-destruction. The sad thing about it is they are robbing blind. Also taking money from my family and totally distorting an auto accident case that has left me disabled for life. In a process that took my son's college money away from him and has made me feel so bad for my boy and so very pissed off at these assholes. The real sad part is they did it to bother. Also, only he was diagnosed a paranoid schizophrenic and spent his whole life in a mental institution. I keep telling them if they do the right thing and give back the money they stole, I would just give up on payback. And I'm a musician that writes songs and plays instruments, so it actually helps me come up with lots of great ideas and words for songs. I've been way more productive since this since they screwed with me. I live in Idaho and would love to talk with someone that could help either get rid of the implants or find a way to find them so I can kick the living shit out of them. Payback is a bitch. Hi, my name is Theresa, and I have recently discovered that I had an RFID. Okay, these are just more and more people. I'll let you guys just pause and read at your own discretion. It's probably a lot of these, but I'm doing justice here by letting their words be heard, or should I say their statements be heard. This one says I was implanted from the air also by a DARPA drone. It felt like a polarizer taser and a hole in my left ear and as many as 6 drones following me. No one will believe, but it was a government planned EMP attack will happen and smart meters will activate the RFID chips and leave billions dead. So they do. Remember back when they were talking about like how they were trying to issue out drones? What if the reason why they want the drones out there is basically to implant people just like they did Tim Sparks? Man, there is just so much here. I'm going to make sure that all of these comments are seen in this video. It's just so much. There's millions, and I mean millions of people being targeted by this organization. A lot. So many people having their lives destroyed, their families torn apart. And these people just don't give a damn about what they're doing, man. This is why I'm saying the real criminals are the people using this technology. Whatever the targeted individual is experiencing is an exact result, and that person's nothing more than a victim of circumstance of being manipulated by the technology of where the real criminals are at. If you keep the real criminals at large, more and more people are going to just end up doing some of the atrocities that you see every now and then. I've already showcased some videos of you seeing some people who literally end up in a situation to where, you know, the technology was used to set them up. And that's precisely what it does. That's precisely what they do. They use this technology to set people up, man, to get them either locked up, to get them killed, or to get them institutionalized. I'm gonna find as many TIs as I can, as many as I can, so that they can also work to free themselves from this bullshit that they're doing. It's like that's the last of them. Looks like there's probably more. Older comments. Looks like they got Durgo Garcia and other secret military bases video. Most watched videos. Polar shift in military preparation. Let me just skip ahead.
The thing, just doing that.
What are RA troops?
I beg your pardon? RA, a regular army. The job of a disaster was always on the National Guard, never RA Army at all.
Wow.
And that has been eliminated that law, making it RA Army and Marine Corps could come in and roll into your town, and it happened during Katrina. A lot of people don't know they were so obsessed with the flooding and the saving of people, which is, proper, but they weren't tuned in that the military was there forcibly confiscating at gunpoint all weapons from civilian population. That's something you could check out. It's in black and white. The U.S. Army would point weapons at you and take your weapon at... Basically, you control the situation. They had an objective, and they were going to do it regardless what it took.
Why, just not to get too far off the beaten track here, why do you think that they disarmed the public with Katrina?
Control.
And why the Army and not the National Guard?
Exactly. It's a good exercise, isn't it? Because they've been practicing this in small towns in Swansboro, North Carolina, and parts of Texas, where there hasn't been a disaster. The Army has rolled in and took over as practice. Katrina was just the first real disaster, chaotic situation, and they did a nice little test run there. They brought the Army in.
Okay,
it's
so
never
that
happened before.
When did they? Do you know when they started doing this? When the Army starts training for this?
Let's see. After 2000, the year 2000, it was documented that the Army swept into Swansboro, North Carolina, took over Swansboro.
Okay.
They remained there almost 2 weeks. Roadblocks, checkpoints, you name it. Searches, they conducted it all. These were not enlisted men either. These were all officers. They're getting them used to the idea that they could roll into a U.S. town and do what they were doing. This was unheard of when I was in the Army, by the way.
Okay. Interesting.
When I was in the Army, our base was basically, Jane Fonda was leading a huge protest against our base, and because of the laws, the National Guard were called in to set up a perimeter and defend our base. We weren't allowed to touch civilians.
So somewhere along the line, they sort of lost that law that you're talking about.
They sure did. They
threw it out the window, and now they're training regular Army troops. Interesting. Okay, that's interesting, since around 2000. So now you did talk about government developments, military developments throughout the U.S. Is this also global, by the way? Are other militaries of the world...
Other governments are basically preparing, but it looks like the U.S. is the big boy on the block as far as survival goes, or an event does happen. This is the place to be for the ones, you might say, that have the power. This is the place to be.
Okay. And so what makes you come to the understanding for yourself when you're, like you said, you were connecting the dots, that it's not epidemic related, or it's not, nuclear war, connected, and you're thinking it's more polar shift oriented, or is it all of the above?
I'm focusing at a polar shift taking place, because there are signs occurring of a polar shift taking place. The earthquake,
understand that.
The earthquake in Haiti, for instance, it knocked us off our axis. We shifted. And then we had the earthquake in Indonesia. And you remember what they were talking about. Instead of saying, why is the planet getting knocked off axis 2 times? That wasn't the topic. You know what the topic was at that point? A new horoscope sign. Because the planet has shifted, everyone's horoscopes changed, and that was the big conversation. Instead of why is the planet shifting, everyone's focused on a horoscope.
Interesting. And so...
You recall that one?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
You know how relevant that is to worry about a horoscope when we have a planet that has moved now twice on its axis? great news video, don't we?
Right. And by the way, is this public information as well? I know that you have how do I say this? You
an
have
associate. We could say an associate.
Okay. All right.
Sex eliminated from this.
Okay.
Just a carbon life form, yes. I have a carbon life form that I am in contact with that it holds a unique government position.
That
Very unique,
validates.
and would know a lot of. That would be a carbon life form.
Okay, that validates your research.
It doesn't validate anything. Is in a very sensitive position, cannot talk.
Okay.
But has made statements on what I relayed information to.
Okay, that's a really long video. Let me see what else that's on here. I'm not gonna play too much, but I'm just turns violent as police. Hang on.
I reached out and touched the sky.
What makes a business?
Copyright claim.
exactly happens on the island of Diego Garcia? Well, wouldn't we all like to know, The island was a major launch pad for US attacks on Afghanistan and Iraq, and the island now is home to some of the US's most deadly planes, including the B-52s, B-1Bs, and B-2 bombers.
Bombers as well, all just 7 hours flying time from downtown Baghdad.
In 2007, the Pentagon granted a £32 million contract to add a submarine base to the island's existing dock.
The Indian Ocean island of Diego Garcia is home to a U.S. airbase that launched the most powerful bombers that were key to winning the war in Iraq. But it was also once home to an indigenous population who was summarily uprooted and shipped against their will to another island 1,200 miles away. So today, only military personnel and the workers they imported are allowed onto Diego Garcia. No outsiders can get in. But the real story is finally surfacing.
Okay, we've had a problem here. This is Houston. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem. We've had a main B undervolt. Roger, main B undervolt.
Man, what the freak is that? everybody, in case you're wondering, no, this is not shipped into UFO searching and all that stuff. No. But the thing is that we can't deny the fact that this whole gang stalking operation is involved with military factions. If we want to find the main people who are responsible for this, we need to find exactly what military faction is deploying these DEW-based weaponry out there. You find them, you get that much closer to the people who are responsible for this. From what I remember, it's definitely the government responsible for this. But I remember Zacchaeus was talking about, like, a lot of those are basically crafts that are utilizing, you know, free energy.
Hello, everyone. I'm coming directly to you for ask a quick favor. Will you add your name to
message? No.
This is how much cinnamon it takes to...
No, you don't. Damn commercials. Okay, so she gave permission for that to be shown. I probably shouldn't show that, but I'm pretty certain they would want more awareness to the channel. So I'm going to leave it there. If they ever request for it to be taken down, I will do that. I will leave the links. Or should I say like a playlist for the channel. That way you guys can just go straight to that and find it. This is not to shame or debunk anything. This is just to bring out awareness because I'm doing the best I can here so people can be more well informed about this, so that we have evidence that shows, yes, people are poisoning people around. And as you see for yourself, they're saying that this stuff is related to a same ingredient found in GMO foods, right? The same thing that these people are laced with when it comes to the Morgellon stuff is the same thing that they're finding in GMO foods, correct? So why do you think they're so desperate to force GMO? And you see what they're doing, right? They did it with milk. They're talking about they want bioengineered milk. Now they're already vaccinated in meats. And they already are going as far as going after the farmers when it comes to crops. These are the same fibers, stuff that's found in so many people, man, that they have put in our environment. This stuff is poisonous. It is poison. I'm going to let you all check this information out at your leisure. Take the time to basically analyze through the data as best you can. And please show your support to the truth denied. Stay safe. Stay strong, everybody.